Hey everyone, it's Gracie Uchley, and for my Essay 1 presentation, I'll be discussing the study of culture and communication through the 4 paradigmatic approaches and discussing the approach that I chose to do this assignment through. So these approaches provide us with a dynamic and humanistic way of understanding the complexities of different cultures and communication through dialectical thinking. So first we must look at the 4 paradigms of culture and communication, which are going to be functionalist, interpretive, critical, and lastly dialectical. I like to think of these four different paradigms as different personalities. Just like normal personalities and people provide us with different perspectives and lenses to see the world through, these 4 different paradigms provide us with different frameworks that we can use to understand culture and communication. The one that I've chosen for this assignment is the dialectical approach. I like this approach because instead of viewing culture as fixed or stagnant or as one thing, it views culture and communication as tensions between opposing yet interconnected forces. And I believe that this approach gives the perspective of seeing how dynamic and complex both culture and communication can be, especially when put together. And this perspective avoids oversimplifications while also explaining the dynamic and sometimes contradictory nature that is intercultural communication. So why did I choose the dialectical paradigm? Ultimately, culture and communication are complicated. They're human and they are contradictory entities that are very difficult to be generalized or stereotyped. It's difficult to put aspects of culture and communication in stagnant boxes and then do those cultures any kind of justice. So this paradigm provides the most realistic lens for understanding how culture and communication consistently interact through various channels of tensions and contradictions. Some benefits of dialectical thinking include flexibility. It encourages adaptable thinking with open-mindedness through multiple perspectives. It also encourages critical thinking to promote a deeper analysis of cultural patterns and assumptions that people often have. And lastly, it promotes empathy and it helps us to avoid stereotyping or boxing in different diverse human experiences within cultures. Some research goals that I found through this dialectical lens include an understanding of cultural complexities. It looks at tensions that are deeply interconnected within different cultures. It also develops intercultural competence by helping us build on flexibility, empathy, pattern recognition, and perspective integration as well. And lastly, it helps us to uncover multiple viewpoints, to move beyond general perspectives, and to examine the diversity within cultural tensions. Some methodology tools that align with this dialectic perspective are contextual analysis, examining different cultural situations in their specific contexts. You can use a dynamic framework that will help you to adapt to changing cultural realities. We also look at cultural tension study through identifying and analyzing many contradictions that come within most of our cultures. And lastly, you can integrate methodology by combining multiple research methods, different approaches for comprehensive understanding of what you're studying through the dialectical perspective. The culture and communication relationship I define as deeply interdependent on one another. They continuously shape and they also sustain each other through dynamic and consistently changing interactions. Culture shapes communication through this wheel of processes, starting with norms and values, moving to worldviews, which is going to be the cultural perspective influence in how we interpret messages based on our culture. And lastly, to response patterns, to see how we respond to messages, how our background affects those response patterns that we have ingrained in our culture. Communication also shapes culture through language, media messages, and rituals. So everyday interactions that we have within our culture helps it to develop its meanings. Mass communication through media messages influence a lot of cultural norms, and communicative practices help us to sustain our cultural traditions that we have. And lastly, communication provides the framework that gives culture its meaning, while culture continuously shapes how we communicate with one another. Thank you.